Hello, I'm Amber, and this is Julia, and today we're going to do a commentary on Shed 17.
I'm terrified.
Yeah, you should be. I have seen this, but she hasn't. For those who don't know, it's the... Yep.
Grossness.
Here we got Sodor Island.
What's Sodor Island?
The place where Thomas lives.
I'm old.
But you should... Then you should
but
remember
I don't remember
this guy. And somebody's calling. I'm gonna ignore it.
Brian, shut the door. Hey.
Present day.
Oh, that got dark. Wait, did somebody bomb it? Can you bomb, like, innocent train people?
Graffiti.
Oh my god. Wait. Oh god, I thought that was the witch sign, the Satan sign, but it's a peace sign.
Wow.
Well, Thomas, you dead.
I don't think that's Thomas, but maybe it's Henry.
It said it was the blue one, right?
You know there are different trains, right?
Yes.
I don't know. It doesn't look like
I'm
a
sorry,
shape.
everybody that likes Thomas the Tank Engine.
That have charmed an entire generation. From the books to the television series, people around the world have grown up with the railway stories,
Oh, there's more than
and all their cheerful characters. But the truth behind Thomas and his friends was no children's fantasy. The truth would be horrifying.
What?
Oh.
What is that?
That's Shed 17.
Why does that? Oh, it's green. Are they radiating trains?
You'll have to wait and see.
I don't know,
It
guys.
is 1945.
At least you're not in the dark,
Remote
like I
island
was.
Sodor,
First time I
off the
saw it.
northwest
Why would you
coast
do
of
that?
England, has
I was
emerged
stupid.
from the fog of
Very
World
chicken
War
shit.
II, relatively
It's gonna be interesting.
unscathed and untouched.
I need to see you more.
Island served as a detention camp for Germans living in England. That's how Professor came to be here.
Professor Wilhelm Goethe was born in 1903 in Munich, Germany.
Eunuch?
Doctor in biology, he became a prominent advisor to the
Oh, they're angry little Lego people. Oh my god, they made a Hitler. Oh my god.
In 1939, as war escalated, he, his wife Olga, and 4-year-old son Hans fled the country.
Well, shiitake mushrooms.
As
I reside in the lower ranks is increasingly abhorred by the direction my government had taken. The things that were rumored to be doing terrified me.
That's what he wanted people to believe. The fact is, his experiments were hard to stomach even for his own people.
In truth, he had become a prominent figure in the government, but as his work progressed, questions and objections had been raised in the higher echelons of the Reich. His work with genetics and DNA was truly pioneering. The cracking and manipulating
That's not hair, that's
of the
horns.
human genome. What Professor Goetze was more successful in, however, was keeping his history a secret until his death. In an attempt to gain favour among the German hierarchy, Wilhelm Goetze was at the forefront of the government's most fanatical policies. In 1938, he was influential in instigating the infamous Sajbalnacht, the Night of Sawdust.
That's a mouthful.
But as his experiments advanced, he became a much less popular figure and soon feared for his and his family's lives.
As soon as he escaped to England, he was banged up here. All locals were nice to him. There was no hostility, and many of them chose to live here after war.
Following their release, Professor Goetze, Olga, and young Hans chose to remain. After studying under his father, Hans left at the age of 18 and went to university on the mainland, studying biology and engineering, writing several pioneering papers about genetics and
This is gonna get
splicing
worse,
of
isn't
DNA
it?
with mechanical implants.
It's gonna be so bad.
They called it biofusion. The technique of manipulating genetic material.
I didn't know what that was till
with
this.
mechanical attachments. However, much like his father, the British government became more and more concerned with Hans Goetze's proposals. So he was forced to
Y'all didn't see what I just saw, but it was did not look comfortable.
Your dog's trying to comfort you.
So Hans came back.
Yes, I'm
He
upset.
saw our little island as some sort of refuge where he could work in peace. Soon every nutcase and eccentric was coming over.
By 1962,
What's that?
Hans
What
set
kind
up
of clown?
Sodor Research,
Scary.
a small lab near the town of Alsborough. But soon the enterprise began supplying medical equipment and machinery, and quickly grew to become a large complex comprising its own links to the growing Sodor rail system.
Young Abby Collins from the town was working there when Professor Hans took a liking to her. Soon they were married, and not long after, the town was buzzing with news of her pregnancy.
Baby Thomas was born in 1968.
No!
His life, he would watch the growing railway network with fascination.
Couldn't get enough of trains.
Oh, that's
His dad
sick.
bought him one of the first video cameras, and he'd be on the platforms every day. You can see me in some of those tapes.
Hi, Mr. Hartley.
Morning, Thomas. But he was friends with everyone, even that simple bloke who could only say where he lived.
Sodor.
But his favourite trains
Wait.
were the old steam engines.
Steam engines were a dying art on the British mainland, but Hans also had a fondness for them, much like his son, and likes to keep them running for our purposes, taking orders from the labs to the growing docks, or to the mainland to be transferred to modern postal express trains. But as the Sodor rail system expanded, it found itself increasingly under the supervision of the new British rail network and appointed a new controller.
Get off my platform!
Sir Topham Hatt. Born in Hawaii, he took his ridiculous name to heart and started wearing a top hat all the time. Of course, the islanders had a different name for him.
Mr. Dick.
You've never met such a cold-hearted
Buster.
as him. He
That
banned all
controller.
steam engine volunteers,
Oh, yeah,
cut
sorry.
most of rail employees, shut down the branch line and the smaller stations. He was happy to let the railway rust away,
Distorted
just like they
theme.
did to mainline.
But the fortunes of the railway were about to take a profitable turn, a stroke of luck for the island that would result from tragedy.
Yeah, Lord.
Come on, we're gonna be late. What's the time? Thomas, get moving.
Young Thomas loved following the railway. He'd be out all the time, hoping to catch a new train on his camera.
11:45's coming through soon. It won't wait for us.
Unfortunately, he didn't take as much notice of the safety signs.
I'm not being late again. Have we missed it yet? Wait for the 11:45. Never mind the 11:45. It must be late again. Thomas, come on. It's always held up.
Oh my god! There's an arm!
Hans was mortified. He disappeared from public view and into the labs. Locking himself in, he wouldn't allow anyone in there. Eventually his father Wilhelm came to see him. In a few days, a major laboratory had been locked down, followed by an engine maintenance shed, which was to become off-limits to all. All production was shut down, orders weren't met, but the two Professor Goetzes didn't care. More and more equipment was being delivered daily, but no one was allowed in Shed 17. Questions started being asked on Sodor. Where were the Goetzes? Would there be no funeral for young Thomas? And where was the body?
They'd arranged for Thomas to be transferred to a mainland hospital. He'd been taken to the complex but was never moved by rail. We all assumed the obvious. He was still in lab.
But if Thomas was there, was he still alive? And what was the purpose of keeping him at the complex? Almost a year after the accident, the doors of Sodor Research were reopened.
I know.
In an open invitation to the people of the island, Thomas rolled out of Shed 17.
Oh, this is messed up.
Took me a moment to realise what it was I was looking at. When he looked at me and said,
Hiya, Mr. Hartley.
it dawned on me what Hans Goetz and his dad had done. One woman passed out as Thomas smiled at us. I had to run off around the side of the shed.
Hey, are you alright, Keith? As news spread across the country,
Gross.
the world's media rushed to Sodor Island.
We might split this into parts.
That's cool. I'm alright with this.
They kept trying to interview me. I
Well, we're
became
doing the
a
whole
bit of
thing
a
tonight.
celebrity.
Diplomacy on Sodor Island. Questions asked about science ethics.
It's fair to say I was pretty nervous at times,
Joined now by Keith Hartley.
but I think I put on a brave face.
What did you think when you first came to meet Thomas the Tank Engine?
Oh, animated Pukey. No. There's so many, like, fake news lines in this.
Pretty good on telly. The mayor said I'd represented the people of Sodor very well.
Oh, goody.
It's
Wow,
important
he's
to
pissed.
show you're confident when people are asking you awkward questions.
Still so wrong to me, just this theory.
An act of mercy or a crime against humanity? I'm joined now by Keith.
Even when some of the questions got difficult, I made sure I knew what I was talking about.
What was your reaction when you first met a talking tank engine?
3, 2, 1. Ah! Fake vomit
You
again.
can't make an informed opinion.
Kind of looks like he's throwing up bees.
String together 2 words on telly. Well,
Wow.
maybe you shouldn't be on there.
Good morning, Britain. That's a lot of people.
Admittedly, the subject matter was a bit bizarre sometimes.
There are some dark forces at work here.
And you.
You were alright as long as you could win over the audience.
They're laughing at you. They're not laughing with you.
How many times does he puke?
The family refused to answer any questions.
The family refused to
Stores,
answer.
the
Oh.
only question they agreed to answer had been asked repeatedly. Would Thomas work on the railway? The response was an emphatic no. Thomas's DNA had been reprogrammed to accept and adapt to the engine structure, using the engine's internal system to maintain his organic functions. What no one could be sure of was how much of the engine was mechanical and how much was organic material. Thomas had been able to move around without coaches, but to work on the railway, his engine would need to be fired up and operated by a driver and fireman. Since no one could be sure how much of the engine was Thomas, the pressure caused by
Oh,
the
that's
engine
lovely.
rupture his organs from the
Yeah.
inside.
Oh, it gets worse.
Heat
It
could
gets
boil
worse.
him alive. Professor Hans and his father vowed Thomas would never work on the railways. Similarly, the two professors
apparently
were
did not see the
refused
TV show.
requests by people from around the world who wished to be biofused into engines.
There were billionaires offering to pay whatever they wanted to be
The
converted
hell
into
was
an
that?
engine or some other
I just saw
transport.
Fabio.
Train enthusiasts too, and people with terminal illnesses were
Mr.
desperate to
Star.
get back into trains.
Ringo
Confused.
Starr?
Probably.
The narrator? Mr.
Miss
T?
T.
But there would be other interested
I
parties
put it a foot.
eager to seize on the biofusion.
I don't know, the fat cunt.
The independently wealthy Topham Hatt staged
Well,
a
they call him the fat
hostile takeover
controller.
and
It's
would
so
indeed
funny.
support a controlling share in Sodor research. Immediately, the policy of the company changed, and so did the ethics. The medical supply wing was shut down, and work began on mass biofusion experiments.
Jeez, I
and
can't
operations.
imagine why.
Anyone
Really?
who
You're
could
drinking?
afford it, some handing over their whole
It's actually quite
fortunes
delicious.
were turned into
I don't like
engines.
alcohol.
That's
But,
okay.
Along with the new policy, there would be
I like it for
worse
the both
to
of
come.
us.
Biofused engines would be allowed, then obliged
Oh my God,
to
what the
work
hell?
on the railways.
The first one we fired up
They
was
gave
James.
Thomas a desk.
James, he's
Money
number
some of these
5.
people had, and so agreed to basically sign his life away if they wanted to experiment further or to take massive risks like this. As usual, the fat had everything recorded. All kept classified, you understand.
These recordings, shown for the first time, reveal the extent of Sir Topham Hatt's
What is with
I
experiment.
forget what happens.
Enjoyable watching these engines work on the railways some days. But the tourists wanted to see it. They expected it. And for me, it was work.
But with the new engine's increasing work schedule came more and more accidents.
Okay, I'm guessing innocent engines died.
He'd been filming all day for the new TV series they'd announced.
That's
For his last
that's
scene,
Henry's theme.
to pull into
This is
Welford
Edward.
Station and whistle to the kids on the platform.
I'm impressed that you actually know that. I'm just pointing that out.
Sadly, this was only the first in an increasing number of incidents. Harold had an obsession with aircraft and appeared to become a helicopter. The operation had gone well, but we had to ban him from being allowed to attempt flight.
Damn.
In an experiment kept secret
train
until now, maybe
had
the
exploded.
diesel engine was to be the first biofuels locomotive
Oh,
used on the
gets
railway.
pretty bad.
We fueled her up and
Just a
everything
warning?
seemed fine. Then things got out of hand.
Oh no.
The
Oh, no.
diesel began to burn her internal organs. Everything organic in the engine was soon burning.
Have you ever heard of locomotive
I'm just laughing at your
screaming?
reaction.
We tried rinsing out the fuel tank with water, but by then
Makes
it was
it more
too
bearable.
late.
Mavis's body would be kept under lock and key indefinitely. In an unexpected U-turn, Sir
I'm
Topham
okay,
Hatt would
I
ban
promise.
fueled engines from being used on the island.
We're gonna break here.
Harold was never told why he couldn't fly.